Alright, you guys, welcome back to another video. And today is day 5, I believe. And you know what? Me and you, we're gonna make it through this, okay? We're gonna make it through the entire convention. And you know what? We're gonna survive. Today, we're looking at Drake Interplanetary, okay? They are one of the favorite manufacturers in the verse amongst the community, but like every manufacturer, they're not perfect. So we're gonna go through their offerings, and we're gonna take a look at if the a good value, if you should pick one up, and what kind of deals we got going on. So yeah, day 5, Drake. Let's just get right into it, you guys. Okay, first ship out of the gate, and we're not looking too pretty. We have the Buccaneer. Okay, this is one of those ships that is a real head scratcher in my personal opinion. Okay, now this is by no means a bad ship. I want to make that perfectly clear. In game, the Buccaneer has its uses, but at $110, it really doesn't make a whole lot of sense. This is the same price as a Hornet, and if you look at the specs, it's not bad. But then you compare it to things like the Cutlass. I mean, the Cutlass has a bed. The Cutlass has a pilot, a co-pilot seat, a turret. It has 46 SU of cargo. It has more shields than this. It has more firepower than this. I mean, it has a tractor beam. It has those little jump seats in the back. I mean, from the same manufacturer. $110 is a lot of money for this ship. In my personal opinion, it's going to be a pass for me, you know. Not a bad ship, but if you really want it, just buy it in game, okay? Number 1, out of the gate. Okay, what do we have next? Next, we have the Caterpillar. Okay, things are starting to turn around, okay? A lot of people really like this ship. $330. Now, this was the primary cargo running ship before we had the C2. Okay, if you wanted to haul a lot of cargo, this was it. And so a lot of people have that connection to it. But above all, the Caterpillar is a modular ship. That means its use case is going to expand beyond just cargo capacity, and it has quite a good amount of modules. It has 4 modules, and in the front area, I believe the front area is designated as long-term cargo, and the 4 midsections are going to be your actual modules that you can swap out. But again, I could be wrong on that. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys know for sure. Also, the command module here is supposed to be able to detach. Because of tractor beam gameplay, we finally have the tractor beam working on this bad boy, okay? But the elevators, these doors are supposed to go down to the ground, they don't work yet. This ship has not met its gold standard pass yet, and it's another ship on CIG's growing list of ships that they're gonna have to touch up again. In my opinion, $330 is an interesting number. It's not a bad value in my opinion. So if you guys want to pick one up, now's not a bad time to do that. With modularity, with the things kind of slated to get updated with this ship, it might be a good addition to your fleet. Okay, interesting ship here. Next we have the Corsair. So many players have been waiting for this ship for such a long time. It finally came out to the community, and everyone immediately fell in love with it. Okay, it has, I believe, 76 SU of cargo. It has an armory. It has a docking collar. It has an elevator that goes from the ground to the interior to the roof. It has crew quarters. Each crew has their own room. It has that engineering room. It has side turrets. It has a ton of pilot controlled DPS. You really can't go wrong with this ship. For $250, it offers a lot. And in my opinion, this is a good value. If you compare it to other ships kind of in this category, ships like the 400i that we talked about yesterday, and the ships like the MSR, similar cargo capacity, but this has a lot more shields than both the 400i and the MSR. It's not the most maneuverable ship out of the bunch, but it's actually not that bad to fly. Its biggest downside has gotta be the landing gear. The landing gear is very low, so as an exploration ship, you might be landing on very uneven terrain, and a lot of times that becomes a problem, as well as the wings. But other than that, a lot of people really love this ship, and for $250, I think it's a good value. Okay, next thing is going to be the Cutless Black. And just like I was saying, I basically went over this ship when we were talking about the Buccaneer. $110, same price as the Buccaneer. It's an amazing ship. Right now, it's kind of like the king of its class. No ships can really touch it for what it does, what it can do, and just about everybody's happy to have it in their hangar. It's one of those ships that you can always rely on. It's not perfect, of course. It does not have a bathroom, and that's one of the things that the community is always asking CIG. Hey, CIG, please, please, please figure out a way to put a bathroom in the ship. But it has those side doors, good cargo, has those seats in the back, the bed, the turret, the firepower. These engines are VTOL as well. It's a very interesting ship for $110. I think it's a good value. You're getting a lot of utility with this ship. Next thing is the Cutless Blue. This is where things get a little bit more interesting, because $175 is pretty steep. At this price point, you're really playing into kind of that Zeus MR territory, and a lot of people were comparing this ship to the Zeus MR. Okay, talking about what it can do with its interdiction capabilities. Now they're very similar in a lot of ways, and really for the Zeus, a big part of it is styling. I personally think the Zeus looks a little bit better than the Cutless Blue, but a lot of people like the warning lights. Now technically this has more prisoner pods inside. We don't know how many prisoner pods the Zeus MR is going to end up with. That gameplay is very interesting. CIG has kind of teased it with different visuals showing players bringing prisoners to the orbital stations above planets, and they've also, you know, shown a sneak peek of the interior of, you know, the bounty hunter drop-off location and the gameplay around that. I have no idea how far away any of that stuff is. So right now, in my opinion, what you're really just going to be doing with this ship is, a lot of pirates use this for, you know, interdicting. And for really where it's at right now, I'm going to say that this is a buying game for me. $175 is a lot of money, and I have no idea what this gameplay is going to look like in the future. I also don't think this number is going to go up by very much, especially because the Zeus MR is on the scene now, directly competing with this. So this might be kind of an interesting ship to take a look at, but personally, I think it's going to probably be a buying game for me. But if you're part of a pirate org, this might be something that you really want to take seriously. Next thing is the Cutless Red. Cutless Red, in my opinion, is a good value. Now it has those 2 medical beds inside and a little bit of storage area in the front. You can actually park an STV in the little entrance area of the Cutless Red. But what I like to do when I look at these ships in different gameplay categories is see how much money it is between this and the next tier up. Okay, and when you're looking at the Apollo, that's coming in the upper that's coming in the $200 range. So, and then you look at something like the Pisces R, that's coming in at like the $50 range. So you're really about, you know, roughly $75 to $100 off both those ships. It's sitting right in the middle price point wise, and so I think that's a pretty good value in my personal opinion. You have that scanning dish on top, so this has a little bit of scanning gameplay, so you can find, you know, people in emergency type situations. So that's another thing that's really interesting about this ship, is that scanning dish up there. So yeah, if you're looking at, seriously getting into the medical profession, I would definitely keep my eyes on the Cutless Red. This is going to be a recommendation from me. Okay, next thing is Cutless Steel. I'm really not going to spend too much time on this. This ship makes no sense. $230. You're playing in, this is a drop ship. At the end of the day, you can't have vehicles. $230 is a lot of money. A lot of people, not just me, think that this ship is too much money, and it's not that much more expensive than the base Cutlass in game. So this is gonna be an in-game buy for me. Again, generally not a bad ship. A lot of people were excited about it, but this price makes no sense. Again, not much more I can say about this ship. This ship right now is sitting right next to the Buccaneer in the 2 Drake ships that I do not recommend. Next we have the Cutter. This is another fan favorite in the community. This is a great ship, and right now it's sitting as the king of starter ships in the game. It has a lot of amenities. It has a bed to log out in, it has a bathroom for hygiene, it has, a cockpit with good visibility, it has leading cargo in its class, it has a lot of space inside so you could put stuff down. If you're running little salvage missions, box missions, anything you want to put back there, you can kind of just place it and not worry about it too much. With that ramp, you can also fit in ground vehicles like the PTV, like the STV. Again, I'm a big fan of the STV. If you guys don't know, it is the second cheapest vehicle in the game, and the STV is very capable ground vehicle. It can fit in a lot of ships because of its small footprint. The Cutter, in my opinion, is a great ship. 2 size 1 guns, you can't go wrong. $45 compared to other starter ships, this is a lot of bang for buck. Highly recommend. Okay, then we have the Cutter Scout. I talked about this ship a lot in another video, comparing it to the Terrapin. Now, really, I'm not saying that the Terrapin is a bad ship. I'm saying for an entry into the profession that you're getting into, you're looking at a big price point gap. Again, it's close to something like a Prospector and a Mole. These big price point gaps make it very attractive to get in at the entry level, and it was so attractive for the Prospector that a lot of people didn't really see the need for the Mole. The Mole was kind of irrelevant, so CIG had to make that gameplay more unique, and that's kind of what I'm seeing with the Scout. I feel like CIG is really going to have to make the gameplay unique between the Terrapin and the Scout to really close that price gap differential. Again, $50 to $220. $220 ship that really needs, clearly defined gameplay for such a big price difference. And that's what CIG had to do with the Mole and the Prospector situation. They had to clearly define that gameplay because the Mole is so much more ship. It needs to have so much more gameplay. Remember, you guys, this is a video game, so the gameplay matters. $50, we don't know entirely what scanning is going to be or look like, but with the same size scanning module as an entry level into the profession, this is going to be a recommendation for me. If you're interested in scanning gameplay, I highly suggest getting this first, experimenting with the gameplay to see if you like it, and then upgrading from there. $50 is a great deal. The Cutter Scout has my recommendation. You guys are going to want to consider this. Again, consider this IAE. Right now, especially, you get War Bond, LTI, special skin, all that stuff. $45. $50. You can't go wrong. Cutter Scout is a recommendation for sure. Then we have the Dragonfly. Dragonfly is under the $50 threshold I usually have for ground vehicles. Over $50, I don't recommend buying a ground vehicle, but $40 for the Dragonfly Black. It's coming under that threshold. Not a bad deal. Now, it is interesting because it is a hovercraft, but it has This is going to get an updated pass because currently its storage boxes don't work, and of course you need the components rework and all this stuff. You can see the components in here, but I don't believe they're able to detach yet. And you can detach the guns, I believe. I'm not entirely sure, but it has weapons. It is pretty maneuverable. It is pretty fast. It is the only hover bike that you can have 2 people on, and CIG is working on the tech and the ability to allow people to fire weapons from a ground vehicle. So you see in this picture, the person on the back is firing a weapon. You'll be able to do that in the future on this ground vehicle, and the pilot has these 2 weapons available to them. The Dragonfly does have a lot of features for what it is, and a lot of people use it. It was used, by Citizen Kate to circumnavigate the planets in Star Citizen. So these are very durable, very capable hover bikes, and yeah, $40 is not a bad deal. Again, ground vehicles are so cheap to buy in game. It's always a buy in game recommendation for me, but because it's IAE, this is coming with 10-year insurance, so it might be taking a look at. Okay, then we have the Herald. The Herald is another one of those ships where the price gap between this and the next ship in its profession, which is the MSR at $250, is pretty big. So because you're saving so much money between those ships, I do think the Herald is priced pretty competitively. Depending on how CIG differentiates the gameplay between the Herald and the MSR, this could be coming in at a big value. Again, this ship doesn't really have anything else going for it. It doesn't have cargo. It does have a bed to log out in, okay? It does have weaponry, but the main thing you're getting this for is the data running and its speed. Right now, this is the fastest ship in the game in straight line speed, because it's basically an engine with a cockpit. $85, you can't go wrong. Again, the data running gameplay is not in yet, so it's anybody's guess if you're going to like the gameplay associated with this ship. But at $85, you're getting kind of a dedicated role, and in my opinion, dedicated role ships are always going to be a little bit more valuable than general purpose ships, from the standpoint that they have unique gameplay, and they're going to be invaluable once you decide if you like that gameplay or not. They're going to be totally worthless if you decide that you don't like that gameplay. So it's really a 50-50 for you. If it's something you're really looking forward to, maybe it's worth taking a look at. I don't think this is a bad deal though. Originally this was $75, and I would say at $75 it's an even better deal, but at $85 I don't think it's a bad deal. Then we have the Kraken. The Kraken is the capital ship for the manufacturer Drake. Okay, this has 2 variants. The regular Kraken, self-sustaining flying fortress, it says it right there. It has the landing pads on top. It is Star Citizen's carrier ship. It is very reminiscent of carrier ships from the military. It is very aggressive. $1650, that's a lot of money. At that point you're playing in kind of like Idris Javelin territory, some of the most expensive ships in game. These come in limited sales, so right now it's sold out. You cannot pick up this ship, but it's one of those things that it's a capital ship. Really the only people that should be looking at something like this are people who are in an org. Solo players are not going to have the best time with something like this. It's going to be interesting again how CIG kind of integrates, or all the gameplay associated with something like that, or a ship like this. But seeing them flying around in the verse is going to be a sight to behold. I can tell you that. It's very aspirational for a lot of players to one day captain or sit at the helm of a ship like this. But again, to me, I think that's a good thing, because it kind of emphasizes their importance. It wouldn't be as cool if you saw every other guy flying around in a Kraken, and everybody's just shooting each other, landing on stuff, complete chaos. When you see a Kraken, you're supposed to say, "Oh, ish, I gotta get out here." You know what I mean? But price wise, I really don't like, you know, digital assets being this expensive. There's a whole conversation about that. I won't get into that in this video right now, but you know, FOMO, all that stuff, limited sales, I'm not a fan of any of that stuff, but I understand what's happening. You know, I get it. You know, I'm an adult. I get it. But what can I say about this ship? You can't even buy it right now, so what does it matter? And same thing with the Kraken privateer, $2,000. So much money. You know, it seems crazy to make a video and sit down and talk about a ship that you cannot fly or use coming in at $2,000 being a good value, something that you can't even buy right now. You know, it's like we're living in a parallel world, but this is the reality we're living in. This is the thing that's happening right now, and I can't even blame anybody because it's a cool ship, and I think it's worth it. I think it's worth it. That's crazy. I'm crazy. It's crazy. Those words are coming out of my mouth. Okay. This is the mobile marketplace. Now, you can argue this ship's value because the Banu Merchantman is a lot cheaper than this, and it is also a mobile marketplace. But it's gonna be very interesting to see where that ship lands price-wise when it's finally released. A lot of people are speculating it's gonna be much closer to $1,000, which wouldn't surprise me at all. I mean, you compare it to other ships in its class, the Banu Merchantman is just it's just too cheap, which again is crazy to say, but compared to the Kraken, if you're interested in mobile marketplace gameplay, I would say don't get this, get the Merchantman, because this is limited. You can't buy this right now. This is $2,000. It has similar gameplay to the Merchantman. The Merchantman is $650 right now. Just buy the Merchantman. It's available right now. It's not limited sales or limited hull or anything like that. It's not $2,000. It doesn't have the carrier gameplay. Like, it doesn't have this flight deck that ships can take off and land on. But it does have a hangar. So at least one person can land in there and you can trade with them. So if you're not a huge org and you don't have these crazy plans to take over the universe, I would say just get a Merchantman. Then we have the Mule, the last dud from Drake. This ship has no purpose. This is a roleplay ship. The only reason anyone would ever use this is to roleplay or make machinima. If you're moving one SU of cargo boxes after 318, you're just doing it wrong, because you're gonna want to utilize other size cargo boxes. The one SU cargo box is just really inefficient, and realistically, the new tractor beam tool can lift much bigger boxes than one SU boxes. Okay, you just use that tractor beam and it has enough range to go from the cargo elevator to your ship. That's all you needed to do. Once we get the new hangars and the cargo elevators, your job as a trading player is to take the boxes from the cargo elevator and put it on your ship. What makes more sense to do? To use a Mule? Because again, realistically, you're not going to be getting one SU boxes. You're going to be getting boxes of all different sizes. So the Mule is just useless, in my opinion. It's a very cool ship. A lot of people like it. It has the you know, small box SCU. Not SCU. These smaller words are hard. And then it has one SCU that can carry in the forks and one SCU that can carry in the back, and then you're driving around in it. The biggest benefit to this ship is that it has an enclosed cabin. So if you want to mess around on a planet, you can do that. But if you do want to do that, if you want to use a Mule to mess around on a planet, just buy it in game. Don't spend $45 on it. I mean, this is the same price as the Cutter, which is a great ship. No, just don't buy this. Then we have the Vulture. the Vulture is amazing. Okay, this ship absolutely killed the Prospector for me, and I want to talk about this ship for a while because, as you guys know, I've talked about it in other videos. I was big into mining as an industrial player. I like trading, I like mining, and before salvage came out, mining and trading was all I did in this game. I'm not a big combat player. I dabble in it sometimes here and there, but I was very big into mining and trading. And when salvage came out, I put the Prospector down, and all I did was salvage. Okay, the gameplay to me is so much more. It makes me feel like a logistics and industrial person. Okay, and no offense to the Prospector, no offense to the mining gameplay loop, but for all intensive purposes, you are in a UI for 90% of the mining experience. Okay, what I like about the Vulture is that you can move around the ship, you can orbit the ship that you're salvaging, and you get out of your seat. And I know this is going to be a controversial opinion because a lot of people don't like that. But a lot of people don't like that you have to get out of your seat, go downstairs, move the boxes around. I like that. I love that because I enjoy logistics. I enjoy moving boxes. That's what I like doing. That's what I want to do in this game. I want to move boxes in this game. So salvaging, filling up the salvage, going downstairs, taking the tractor beam, stacking the boxes, every once in a while, it feels like I'm doing something. I'm not in a UI the entire time. It adds immersion for me personally that I'm a player doing logistics things. I'm not just sitting in a UI. And that's a lot. And if you have any experience rigging or doing any, using a forklift or anything like that, you're not sitting in the forklift for 100% of the time. Like, I've operated a forklift before. You're doing stuff, you're getting out of the seat, potentially positioning the thing, messing with the pallets that you're moving, doing the mental gymnastics of what angle you have to go in at to actually take this pallet or drop it off. So you're doing things, and I enjoy that. I enjoy that kind of logistical aspect of, okay, I'm salvaging, then I'm managing the boxes. The second reason is that it's more versatile. You're not just going to be hull scraping. You're also going to be taking components out, taking boxes out of the ships that you come across. And you need a cargo hold to do that. Saddlebags won't cut it like in the Prospector. So because the Prospector has no internal storage, you just have those saddlebags. It doesn't have that versatility. Also, with a Vulture, you can carry a ground vehicle. I do wish the Vulture had more cargo capacity because, again, with the salvage profession, you're finding a lot of stuff. A lot of people like to take much larger ships and then not even hull scrape. They just take components and they just take the cargo that's in the salvage ship that they find. So I do wish the Vulture had more cargo, but let's talk about the price. $175. I think that's a good price. You compare it to the Reclaimer. I think that's at like what, $400 or $500 now. That is a good price gap between the entry level and the next tier up. Again, you want to consider the price gap whenever you're looking at a ship's value, and with the structural salvage coming down in the very next patch, you're gonna want to take this thing seriously. You're gonna want to take a look at this thing to check out that gameplay, because again, the Reclaimer is a very expensive ship to get into salvage, to test out that gameplay mechanic with a ship that expensive. You're kind of it's a good idea to start off with a Vulture. I love the gameplay loop. I think it's very fulfilling. Again, I upgraded my Prospector to a Vulture and I haven't looked back. It's just a very, it's a very fulfilling gameplay loop in my opinion. But not everybody's gonna like that. Not everybody's gonna like going downstairs. Seiji's talked about, extending this the conveyor belt from the packing machine essentially, and I don't have a problem with that. I'm fine with that. That's whatever. That's for people who want to sit in the seat longer. I don't want to sit in the seat longer. I don't. I think going back and forth is good, but that's just me. You know, some people won't like that, some people do. I love it. I love salvage. Besides trading, this is it. This is me. That's what I like to do. This is everything I look for in a game like this, is engaging, immersive gameplay. I want my character to do things. I don't want to sit in the seat. When I do want to sit in the seat, I'm trading. So next ship on deck is the Buccaneer again. So that's gonna be it for Drake Day. Let me know what you guys think. This video's gone on pretty long. I think I successfully got through the whole thing without any edits. You know, my last video, I think I had like 17 edits in it. I don't think this video should have any edits in it. It was pretty smooth, and it was a very long video. So yeah, I think the losers for Drake Day are going to be the Buccaneer. Let's go through it again real quick. The Buccaneer, Cutless Steel, I would say the Kraken Privateer, and the Mule. That's not bad. In my opinion, that's great. And you know what? The Kraken Privateer is not really a loser. Let's be honest. You know, I'm going to get flamed in the comments for that statement. It's not a loser, okay? So we really only have three. We have the Buccaneer, we have the Cutless Steel, and we have the Mule. That's not bad, okay? Don't buy those three. The rest, serious consideration. So yeah, that's gonna be it for me here, you guys. Let me know what you think about this video in the comments down below. I love hearing from you guys. I love the support you guys have been showing on the channel, the comments, the likes, the views. You guys have been knocking out of the park. I cannot thank you enough for all the support on the channel. The channel's been growing so much, and it's all thanks to you guys. You guys have been loving the videos. So again, let me know how you're feeling. I wanna read those comments. I like hearing from you guys. But that's gonna be it for me in this video. I don't want to take up too much more of your time. This video is going on super long. Like I always say at the end of these videos, like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you want to see more, and I will see you guys in the next one. Salute.